So, and the people are leading with the wrong impressions, which, sorry, which is, if I'm looking for a meaningful relationship, I'm saying I want to get to know you and you want to get to know me, and we're going to relate now and we're going to connect. If I'm presenting myself I'm trying to impress you with my money, so I'm going to come and tell you I do this and this and this and that, and then you end up liking me for that, well, I can't complain about it later. That is what I led with. So if you're going to lead with that, that's what you're saying you want to have, approved of or liked. So a lot of that happens. So was it harder dating in cities? Definitely. Village makes it easier in so many ways. One, less choices. Less choices. If you ask your dad, well, I asked my dad and I said, how many women do you like? He said, what? None of your business. Then he answered. And then he said, well, you know what? There was the daughter of that guy who had butcher shops. And there was this, there was like three ladies that, were potential, and they were all good.
And I guess it's the same like going into a restaurant. If you've got a menu with 2 items,
Correct.
you're going to 50-50 chance. You've got a menu with 100 items,
Correct.
you're going to spend a lot longer deciding.
Correct. And it also, I think when you have less choices, it gives you the opportunity to also work on you, I think. Because then it's like, okay, so I've got 3 choices and I'm going to make it work with one of them.
Well, you've got no option, right?
So now I also need to work on maybe my judgments. Maybe I need to work on so there's a growth that happens there as well. As opposed to, no, I'm great. Now I just want a buffet and I want the best of whatever the best is. And then if it doesn't work, anyway, there's another 100 behind that I'm going to look at, and I'm easy to move.
So if you were to give advice to, let's say, a woman specifically in Dubai looking for a relationship, what do you think are the major problems or mistakes they're making, and what direction should they be going towards? What, in your opinion?
I think women...
It's a general question, but
it's a good one. It's a very good one. I think women in cities, again, a little bit different, whether they're aware or not, they do present themselves and live from a masculine energy quite often, which is so understandable. A lot of these women work and take care of themselves and are leading and driving and doing all the things that they need to do. So that doesn't help much in a relationship, which means then when they meet a man, they're still in that energy. So when I speak to women, I tell them to really make a conscious choice. Now, if you're going to meet a guy and you're looking to be in a relationship and you're going to meet a guy, make a conscious choice to shift energies. And it's the most unnatural feeling when you've been in that energy most of your life. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like me. It's not me. I'm not used to, I'm going to let him choose and I'm going to let him pick which place we're going and he's going to pick me up. I drive. I'm going to go there myself. It doesn't feel natural, but you got to do it. Because if you don't do that, you're putting him in his feminine. And he's not going to feel very comfortable. And you're not going to feel very comfortable. And that dynamic is not going to go very far. So a relationship that is a healthy relationship is one where the woman is in her feminine and the male is in his masculine. Of course, we carry both energies, but a man wants to feel like a man. A woman wants to feel like a woman. Now, what does that mean is as natural as possible, a man wants to feel like he's in charge, that you trust him to be in charge. It's that simple. For a lot of men, you ask them, what is it you want from your woman? It's just that, like she trusts me. She trusts that I've got it. And she's not there micromanaging me because that makes me feel like she doesn't trust that I've got it. And a woman wants to feel like she can just chill. She can just lay back and you gotta, you know what you're doing.
I guess again, another thing specifically about Dubai is that majority of the people here, men and women, have traveled alone. So they're not with their parents. Mm. If you go to other places where, a woman has still kind of living with her family or the family's local, then I guess there is less need for that kind of masculine independent energy, right? Whereas in Dubai, the majority of women are here alone. And really, realistically, if they don't look after themselves, there isn't someone to look after them, right? But as you're saying, it's that being able to kind of
Well,
switch when needed?
I think that's worldwide. So the energies have shifted. And I think that's the relationship issue is a worldwide issue. Believe me, if any city, any place around the world, people are going to tell, unless you go to really remote, sort of unplugged, backwards a little bit societies. The old values are kind of dimmed, and we're moving into something a little bit different where the women have become the men they needed in a way. So they've become, I can take care of myself and I don't need a man. And you'll hear a lot of that, and you read a lot of that, women going to a man saying, I don't need you. That's the worst thing you can say to a man. Man's like, what do you mean? I'm useless? I want to be needed. I want to be useful, not useless. So a man needs to be doing things to feel like he's, I feel good, empowered, I'm strong. A man, when he's not doing anything, he's going to go and do something by himself. There's a reason why men go into, sports challenges and go to the gym and whatever. Is they want to feel their own power. They want to feel, I'm strong. I can do things. I'm empowered. I can take charge. So when a woman says, I don't need you, I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem like a place I'm going to be very fulfilled in, but she's not saying it from a place of, I don't need you. She's saying it from a place of, I've learned how to not need anybody because I've had to. And now that's all I know. So show me how I need you. And if you can start taking off her plate and kind of carrying the load a little bit of that for the both of you, she's gonna shift into her feminine, and that's the most beautiful relationship that can happen.
And so flipping it on his head,
yeah.
For men, what would you say is the biggest mistake they're making in a major city like this, and what direction do they need to go into?
I think men need to be connected a lot more to their hearts, and have disconnected from that. I think that our generation, and I would think a generation of the men in the 30s, maybe 40s, are, they're a little bit allergic to the word responsibility. Responsibility, which was driving the previous generation, which was the word. Men nowadays, like, I don't want to commit, I don't want responsibility, I don't want anything. But that is what a man is. That is where his most beautiful power comes out. There's a quote that I heard that's beautiful that says, a boy becomes a man when he becomes responsible for another than him. And I think that's very, very true. When a man becomes responsible for a group, whether it's, in a challenge or whatever, that's when he starts feeling, his true power. And that's what a man does in a family. That's literally what he does in a family. So I think men in the cities, such as Dubai, should probably, understand a lot of what's driving them and why they're doing the things they're doing, and find the beauty in all the things that they have kind of rejected without exploring much, such as responsibility, commitment. It's like, what is it that I don't like about commitment? What is it that I don't like about commitment? What is freedom? Is freedom doing whatever I want, whenever I want? Because that seems to be the theme nowadays, but that's not freedom. Freedom is choosing one thing and having a priority and saying, I'm going to pursue that. And that means I'm going to reject everything that is not going towards that. That's freedom. That's true freedom. Doing anything all over the place and being completely, that brings anxiety. That doesn't bring freedom.
It's interesting. I remember someone said to me a very long time ago that before a certain year, there was no such thing as a teenager. Because, if you go back to maybe, I don't know, the 20s or the 30s in England or wherever it is, once you got to maybe 12 or 13, education wasn't massive. People weren't going to university and like studying for the next 15 years. You found a profession and you did that.
Yeah.
I feel that since the time that teenagers became a thing, and then from the age of 15 to 18, people are just kind of like not doing much. It feels that age is just getting later and later and later. Correct. If that makes sense.
Correct. I think. The age in general is getting later. So people used to die at 50. Now we get another half decade if we're lucky. But also I do think you're right when it comes to that. Is women used to get married in a lot of cultures at 13, 14, 15. England as well. I'm not the past
course,
century,
no,
but
it's
before.
worldwide, yeah.
Yeah. So there was there's your childhood, and then you kind of go into, now you're becoming an adult. And now an adult means what? Is I'm serving. I'm serving. I'm doing my purpose. And a woman's purpose, well, she's born with it. It's called a uterus. She's meant to be a mother. You know,
and on the flip side, the male one is responsibility, as you said. That's the kind
correct.
of
So, if the way I like to see it, and it makes a lot of sense for me, is a woman is born with purpose, and she knows that. She knows I'm born to be a mother eventually because I carry this thing, and I'm the continuation of life.